A small copper funnel, about the size of your thumb. Weight barely 50 grams. But when attached to an explosive, it can pierce through 10 centimeters of steel armor. No, this is not magic. This is a shaped charge, and the principle behind it is pressure. In this video, we will understand how focusing force on a tiny area can make steel flow like water. With examples from Iran, Israel, Ukraine, and modern anti-tank weapons, we learned impulse in the last video, force times time. Today we understand pressure. The formula for pressure is pressure equals force divided by area. This means if you apply the same force on a smaller area, the pressure increases dramatically. Take an example. A needle has a very sharp tip. If you press a needle lightly on your hand, it pricks you, because the entire force is applied on a very small area. If you apply the same force with your flat finger, nothing happens. This is the magic of pressure. On the battlefield, this same principle makes weapons incredibly deadly. If you focus all the energy of a projectile or bomb onto a tiny point, it can pierce armor, melt it, or turn it into vapor. A shaped charge is a special type of explosive. In front of the explosive, there is a hollow copper funnel. When the explosive detonates, it compresses the copper funnel. Under high pressure and temperature, copper behaves like a fluid. The funnel shape transforms into a very thin, fast jet of copper. This jet travels at 8,000 to 10,000 meters per second, which is 25 times faster than sound. This jet hits the steel armor. At that point, the pressure becomes millions of atmospheres, so high that the steel melts and starts flowing. The jet pierces through the armor and enters the inside, destroying everything. All of this happens in a few microseconds. Iran has a handheld anti-tank weapon called the RPG-29. It works on a shaped charge. It has been used against Israeli Merkava tanks. The RPG-29 warhead can penetrate 750 millimeters of steel armor, all because of that small copper funnel. Recently, Iran claimed to have developed a new shaped charge that can also penetrate reactive armor. It has two shaped charges, one after another. The first one destroys the reactive armor. The second penetrates the main armor of the tank. Pause and think. The diameter of the copper jet is only a few millimeters. If this jet were 1 centimeter thick, would it still penetrate armor? Tell me in the comments. During the Ukraine war, the world saw how Javelin missiles were destroying Russian tanks from the top. The Javelin also has a shaped charge, but it is designed to hit the weakest part of the tank, the top armor. The top armor is thinner than the front, so even a small shaped charge can penetrate it. Another weapon is the NLAW, built jointly by Britain and Sweden. It is a single-shot anti-tank weapon. It has a tandem arrangement with a shaped charge. The first small charge removes the reactive armor. Then the main charge penetrates the tank armor. In Ukraine, this weapon destroyed hundreds of Russian tanks. Tank commanders became terrified that an NLAW might fall on their tank at any moment. A Javelin missile costs about $200,000. A tank costs about $5 million. Is it ethical to destroy an expensive tank with a cheap shaped charge? Tell me in the comments. Sometimes shaped charges are not limited to expensive weapons. In Syria and Iraq, rebel groups made improvised shaped charges. They used old copper pipes, oil drums, and simple explosives. These are called EFPs, explosively formed projectiles. This is a simpler form of shaped charge. Instead of a copper funnel, there is a flat or slightly curved plate. After the explosion, the plate turns inside out and forms a bullet-like projectile moving at 1,000 to 2,000 meters per second. It can penetrate light armor and vehicles. In the 2003 Iraq War, such EFPs were used to attack Humvee vehicles. They are cheap, deadly, and easy to hide. Shaped charges are so dangerous that tanks had to develop special armor to survive. One method is spaced armor. A gap is left between the outer armor and the tank body. When the shaped charge jet penetrates the first layer, it spreads out in the empty space and loses energy. By the time it reaches the second layer, it is too weak. Another method is slat armor. This consists of thin metal bars around the tank. When a shaped charge hits these bars, the fuse breaks, or the warhead detonates too early. The main armor remains unaffected. Russian T-90 tanks have both types of armor. Still, many tanks in Ukraine were destroyed by shaped charges because every armor has its limit. The temperature of a shaped charge jet can reach up to 4,000 degrees Celsius. Do you think any wall can be built to stop this? Tell me in the comments. Now we are in the era of drone warfare. Small drones with shaped charges are being dropped on tanks. Ukraine used FPV drones with RPG-7 shaped charge warheads. The drone flies directly to the weakest part of the tank, the top or the rear, and the shaped charge does its job. It is so cheap that a $500 drone can destroy a $5 million tank. Armies are now putting metal cages on top of tanks to protect against drones. This is just a form of slat armor. Did you know that a shaped charge also works underwater? But the jet slows down in water, so some torpedoes use shaped charges. However, there is another concept called supercavitation. A bubble is created around the torpedo, making water resistance almost zero. Then the torpedo can travel at 370 kilometers per hour. The Russian Shkval torpedo does exactly this. This is a different topic, but it relates to pressure and cavitation. We will cover it in a future video. So friends, you have seen a small copper funnel, a little bit of explosive, and steel armor melts. This is the magic of pressure. Pressure equals force divided by area. The smaller the area, the higher the pressure. The shaped charge takes this principle to the extreme. We saw how RPGs, Javelins, NLAWs, and even simple drones use this technology to destroy tanks. And tanks use spaced armor, slat armor, and cages to survive. This race will never end. Now here is your question. The tip of a needle has a diameter of 0.1 millimeters. If the same force is applied on a tip with a diameter of 1 millimeter, how many times does the pressure decrease? The answer is 100 times, because the area became 100 times larger. Write in the comments needle or 100 times. I will read some names in the next video. In the next video we will talk about nuclear physics and the hydrogen bomb. How the energy hidden inside a tiny atom can wipe out an entire city. If you like this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Understand science, because science is the biggest weapon and also the biggest shield. Thank you.